Hello everyone and welcome back to NDI TV. I'm your host Renato. It's been just over a month since we launched NDI 5 and we've seen a staggering response from you, the NDI community. Everything from the astonishing number of downloads to the invaluable feedback you've given us about the new features. Thank you for that. Of course, one of the most significant parts in the suite is the Advanced SDK. So in this episode, we'll take a deep dive with Dr. Andrew Cross into the new features of the Advanced SDK and look at how the developers are best taking advantage of the tool to assist in their NDI solutions. Then we will sit down with Head of NDI Support Stephanie Crabtree and Senior Project Manager Roberto Musso for a roundtable discussion with two of the leading NDI developers, JVC and Telescript, to find out how they are using the Advanced SDK to develop their products with NDI. Finally, in this month's Did You Know, we will hear from Mark Gederman, Head of Demand Gen for the VizRT Group, about how partner marketing works when licensees sign up with NDI. So let's get cracking with Dr. Andrew Cross.
Thank you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Advanced SDK and what some of the things that the Advanced SDK allows you to do that our free SDK doesn't. Now, probably the single biggest thing, and the one that I would immediately jump to taking advantage of if I was using the Advanced SDK, is this ability to both send and receive the compressed data without decompressing it. So what this means is that you receive the video, you receive it in its native compressed format. And what you can do then is you can take it, you can store it on disk, for instance, so you can record to disk without taking any CPU usage because you don't need to decompress it. You can take it off the network and you can send it to multiple other sources, meaning that you can proxy it or send it to other sources without any recompression. Now, on the other end of things, you can take streams off disk, send them to the network, so you can do things like play out without any need to decompress data. You can just take it straight out the file and send it onto the network. Now, there are innumerable other benefits of working directly on the compressed data, but this allows you to build all sorts of new products, for instance, play out servers that are not limited in how many streams they can do because they're not limited in how fast they can compress and decompress data. So that is a very powerful ability that is only available in the Advanced SDK. Second of all, you get to set for every connection, for everybody who connects, everybody who receives, you get to say all of the properties of that connection. So you could, for instance, place all your audio connections on one NIC. You could place all your video connections on another NIC. You could say that you want to force them into reliable UDP mode or force them into say, single TCP mode, or that some connections are using one discovery server and others are using a different. So this ability to take all of your connections, whether they're sending, receiving, or finders, and control the full configuration for those inputs is very, very powerful and allows you to build much more complex and sophisticated apps. Now, there is a lot more. For instance, custom memory allocators means that when we give you a frame, rather than us just giving you the frame, you actually get to tell us, here's the memory I want you to decompress this frame into. So, for instance, lots of GPUs, to get the best performance, they want to give you the location of memory that a frame is placed in. So using custom frame allocators, this allows you to write an application where you tell us where you want us to decompress the frame, and we then decompress it into that memory, which makes it far more optimal to work in, when you want a lot of streams of video or you want lots of GPUs. Now, there's a lot more. For instance, we have our NDI Genlock support is in the Advanced SDK. We have great tools that allow you to get fully sample accurate audio-video synchronization. You can actually set up even connection for metadata for every connection on the network so that then you can go and look at the metadata about every connection. And there is so much more. But the reality is that if you're developing a sophisticated NDI application, you really do want to look at the Advanced SDK because it really does give you the next level functionality to really embed your application deeply into what NDI can do.
So I'm Steph Crabtree, Head of NDI Support, and I'm happy to welcome you to our first roundtable discussion with some of our partners that NDI has who use the NDI Advanced SDK. And they're here to talk about what that has meant for them and ways that they use the Advanced SDK in their businesses. So I'd like to go ahead and introduce first Jim from Telescript. Jim, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey everyone, my name is Jim Murphy. I'm a product specialist and development here at Telescript International. We are a 60-plus-year-old company that manufactures teleprompting hardware and software.
Thank you. I'm really glad to have you here today. Thanks. And as one of our new partners, I'm sure our audience will be very interested in hearing what you have to say. Next, I'd like to introduce Edgar from JVC. Edgar, do you want to mention a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Steph. My name is Edgar Shane, and I'm the General Manager of Engineering for JVC Kenwood, USA. I work with the JVC, which is based in Japan, on new products introduction and development. And JVC was established long ago, in 1927, I believe so, and we've been manufacturing professional consumer electronics ever since.
Thank you. I'm really glad to have you here today. You'll add a good voice to our discussion that we're interested in hearing your perspective from the camera side.
Thank you.
And next we have with us Roberto Musso, who's coming to us from Italy. Roberto, why don't you tell us what your role is at NDI?
Oh, thanks, Stephanie. So I'm the Senior Product Manager for NDI. I've been working with NDI since from, I would say, forever. And I'm very glad to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We're glad to have your time here with us today. All right, so this is a roundtable discussion about the Advanced SDK. Our two partners that we have with us have both developed products with the Advanced SDK. And so we'd like to get a little bit into asking them about their experience with it. My first question for the group is, why did you pick NDI to add to your products?
Well, here at Telescript, we were looking for a solution to try to offer video over IP for our customers in our monitors. We hadn't had that in the past, and we waited a long time to figure out exactly how we wanted to do this. And then once we realized how effective and easy to use NDI is, that's why we decided to go with them. A lot of our customer base is they're owner-operators. They're not necessarily networking gurus. They want it to be easy, and they want it to just work. And based on our testing with NDI, before we decided to put it into our products, it's exactly what it was. It was easy, and it just worked.
Thank you. That's really good to hear. And you've had your monitors and teleprompters on the market for a little while now, correct?
Yeah, the monitors came out just this past summer. We've got some excellent feedback from our customers. I think a lot of, like I said, the owner-operators are really looking forward to what NDI Bridge is going to offer, amongst some of the other NDI 5 tools that have just come out.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Edgar, what's your perspective on adding NDI to the JVC products?
Well, at JVC Professional, we've been developing cameras with built-in integrated encoders for video over IP for more than 10 years. But traditionally, it's been always, specific protocols, very often proprietary, which required the same brand of equipment on both sides, required complicated setup. And the introduction of NDI is truly revolutionary, because this is finally we have a common interface, which is very easy to configure and which allows multiple devices on the network to see each other, control each other. There was no brainer choice of this protocol to be integrated in new JVC cameras.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And you've been testing out your new cameras, and what would you say is your experience with ease of setting it up in a network?
For me, it is completely new, because I'm used to configure devices on both sides, including IP addresses and ports and many different settings. But with NDI, as long as the moment camera is connected to the network, it becomes visible and available from NDI video monitor or NewTek TriCaster switcher. So it's a true plug-and-play experience. So it's amazing. For me, it's new, and I'm very pleased with this performance.
Good. Thank you. I'm glad to hear both your perspectives on that. Which actually leads me into my next question. What is it like being an NDI partner? What does that partnership look like from your side of the business?
It's nice to have a partner that really supports the customer, us. Everything from the press release process to getting us out on social media, getting us up in the NDI marketplace has really given us a lot of exposure to customers that we normally would not have had access to. So and the NDI team has been really, really great at helping us get our product out to market.
Thank you. Well, I'll pass that feedback on to our marketing team. Thank you. Edgar, you're just starting out with us as an NDI partner. Are you looking forward to anything being on the partner side, or what's been your experience so far?
Well, experience is very pleasant actually, because our development in manufacturing is in Japan, so quite often it's a very inconvenient time for conference calls and things like that. But NewTek from day one, from the moment NewTek provided the SDK to the moment when cameras were introduced, NewTek provided us with a very good support, and it is important for us to be able to ask questions and get specific answers to enable this camera integration.
That's good. Thank you. And maybe for both of you or for Jim, you mentioned a little bit about the business opportunities that you're able to access through NDI and through our user base that we already have with tools and the other people who have downloaded our free suite of products and software that we offer. Maybe can you mention a little bit more about perhaps does that help bring your products to an audience that you didn't have before, or expanded, or maybe say a little bit more about that so we understand?
I mean, obviously, with customers, a lot of their decision-making process has to do with cost. The fact that you don't need to purchase a new piece of software from us in order to be able to use our prompting software with our NDI prompter monitors. The free NDI tools, the screen capture tool, the studio monitor tool, they're open source, they're free. People can download them and use them. And you don't necessarily have to upgrade your software in order to be able to use those tools in conjunction with our new monitors.
Yes, that's definitely true. And I haven't had the opportunity yet of using one of your monitors, but I am very excited to, and it's something that I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to do shortly. I've heard good feedback so far.
And so have we, which is great. So.
That's good. So you mentioned a little bit about some of the NDI tools, features, and the NDI 5 features were mentioned earlier as well. So I think maybe we can head that direction and talk about that in a little more detail. Specifically with NDI Bridge, which is new for NDI 5. How does the NDI Bridge enable your local hardware devices to be used over the internet, or maybe in a wider context than would have been possible before?
Well, basically, like I said, because the user can download their NDI 5 tools and use screen capture on their laptops, they're able to connect via the bridge to any studio anywhere in the world that's got one of our monitors in it, as any NDI network. So you got a lot of people, especially with the pandemic that's happened over the course of the last year and a half, a lot of people trying to figure out ways to work from home effectively. And NDI Bridge is really something that's going to help these customers of ours be able to operate from home, send their NDI prompter monitor setup out to wherever it needs to be. As long as they can get the bridge set up, they can connect from home to the studio or wherever it might be pretty easily, which is great.
Sounds good. Edgar, do you have a camera perspective on this as well?
Oh, absolutely. And this is not just camera, this is the entire workflow. And I like the fact that we're talking about teleprompters, because this is the part of the typical production when our cameras are used. Ability to bridge two locations over the internet, and ability to bridge NDI devices at location A with the NDI device at location B bidirectional. It's hard to overestimate that. This is very good feature, and when you have cameras on location streaming NDI, which can be bridged to the switcher, which is located somewhere 3,000 miles away, And the same location can receive prompter signal back through the same bridge. This is precisely what we're talking when we say remote production over the internet. So these are very important tools which are needed, and especially today.
Absolutely, that's very true. And actually, I have a question for Roberto regarding this. So, both Jim and Edgar have mentioned the two different locations in different places, but also the bridge has a feature to use with different subnets as well, correct? And how could that be used in this context?
Yeah, I mean, NDI Bridge is an amazing piece of software, and let me explain something first in terms of background in NDI. What we have done since from the beginning is to create an ecosystem, and this ecosystem is useful both for customer, like end user, or for partner. And Bridge is a very good example. So what we have done, what we are doing, we are making NDI working today over internet, and this is a great opportunity for our partner. I mean, we are creating a new, every new version of NDI is adding new tools that make both customer, that offer both to customer and partner opportunity of growth and enable new work. So regarding Bridge, is not only over one. I mean, Bridge enable a lot of interesting workflow. For example, I can use Bridge instead of multicast. I can use Bridge to duplicate stream and to transport stream over LAN, over different local area network in my system, in my infrastructure. And this is very interesting. For example, if I need to transport or to share some source to a wide number of receiver, and I don't want to use multicast, I can use Bridge for do it. And more and more, I think customer will realize all the use case that NDI Bridge offer. And this is one example.
Yes, it definitely is. I remember using Bridge when it was just coming out as a prototype before we released it, and you were in your van using several NDI different setups and some new tech products and some products from our partners, and exploring how you could connect those in different ways to your house and I don't know where else. Thank you for that perspective. And actually, that leads me into my next question with another tool, which is NDI Remote, which is also new in NDI version 5. And of course, maybe Roberto, can you give us a brief overview of how Remote can be used with some of our partner and other hardware products, and maybe then we can get a perspective from JVC and Telescript?
I mean, with NDI Remote, we did something really, I used to say magic, because I want to share my source with you. I'm in Italy, you are in US, and I just send you a link. And Remote is not intended to as a replacement of caller application. This was not the goal. I mean, the goal is really to share source with someone that is remote. So today I can do it with my laptop, I can do it with my mobile phone, but thanks to the NDI tools, I can say that I have a PTZ camera here, and I can share the source just sending you a link. This is the background of this unbelievable tool.
Thank you. Yeah. Speaking of PTZ cameras, Edgar, how do you see NDI Remote maybe expanding or changing your business for your cameras that you're releasing?
Well, absolutely. We have a lot of cameras used by remote contributors and remote anchors who work out of their home offices, just like myself right now. And it's always necessary to, again, to configure streams and to specify IP addresses, ports. And quite often it takes time, and sometimes it's difficult to do. With the simplified procedure with the NDI remote, camera sends video through the laptop to the external destination with just a simple link shared. That's exactly what is needed for quick setup with the remote contributors.
Absolutely. Jim, do you have any thoughts on this for your business?
Yeah, I do. I think this is going to be something that producers that are involved in remote productions are really going to be interested in, because producers want to see script before talent reads it. They want to make adjustments to the script. So being able for the operator to be able to just, like Edgar said, just send a link to that producer for them to be able to see your teleprompter feed is easy, and they're just, and that's the thing with producers. Most of them are non-technical, so to make it the least amount technical for them, is really, really important.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, when we develop these tools, we don't think about all the many use cases there are, but that's certainly one that sounds useful that I had not even thought of before. Speaking of production, our next question I want to discuss is about some of the advanced features that are part of the advanced SDK. So audio features, was thinking, and maybe metadata and tally. These are all things that are extremely important in a production setting, but also important for developers to be able to have access to these new ways of doing things that they hadn't before. So maybe, Roberto, do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the new audio features available with the advanced SDK for version 5?
Yeah, I mean, something that is absolutely relevant, but this is generally with NDI. I mean, NDI support unlimited audio channel. And we can create string with, or we can have a software application that is requesting to a transmitter to receive only audio and not the full NDI with video, alpha channel. And we can combine audio with metadata. With the advanced SDK now, we can use compression, and we can create a multi-channel audio string with compressed audio. And I mean, then again, if we combine this capability with the free NDI tools, again, NDI Bridge, just imagine the kind of workflow that our customer can do, having multi-channel audio running over internet. This is something unique. And I mean, thanks to the combination between the SDK, the partner, and the tools, this is something, I mean, absolutely interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mentioned metadata. So, Jim, maybe that seems like something that would be relevant for your business as well as the metadata features with NDI 5.
Yeah, when we here at Telescript, everyone here we're users. I was a teleprompter operator for 20 years, so we thought about our experience out in the field, and what would we want to monitor with NDI? What else could we add other than just displaying a prompter signal? So we figured, well, in a lot of our systems we do offer tallies, and the fact that you can track metadata from any camera that's in the NDI network and route that to a port on our monitor that outputs tally to our external tally device is really it's something that I don't think anybody else is doing. So the interface that we have in our monitors, you can actually pick any of those devices on the network and display that tally status in our external tally.
Excellent. Yeah. And Edgar, you're doing something with tally that's new for your cameras as well, correct?
Well, in general, tally is not new to cameras. Every professional camera typically is equipped with the internal tally light. But to be able to activate this tally light using NDI interface, while camera is providing video and audio feeds over NDI, is very important. And now with the NDI breach, perhaps tallies can be activated on the remote locations, which is very important for part of remote production. And speaking of metadata, of course, is the question of the, it's not a question, but it's a feature which is going to be implemented in the future. And it also depends how devices read and parse metadata. But cameras always include very rich metadata in the stream, which includes GPS coordinates and many other things. So I look forward to new metadata implementation in the NDI 5 to see how we can enhance the functionality of remote production.
Excellent. Yes. Speaking of all of those pieces of information that are in the metadata, Roberto, I remember you mentioning some time ago that NDI's handling of metadata, especially saving to files, is somewhat unique. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So in an NDI stream, a developer can add any kind of metadata. We don't have any limitation in terms of metadata support in NDI stream. And the metadata can be, in the stream, can be locked in any single frame. And so, for example, I used to do a lot of testing with the visual graphic R&D, where we used to send, for example, scoring information over an NDI stream, and then remotely there is a graphic engine that is rendering the scoring data on screen. And again, this with NDI bridge is enabling another interesting workflow. So I can have a remote graphic that is, creating and rendering graphic in real time, just using the metadata in the NDI stream. But then something that is absolutely interesting is that, technically speaking, we can save metadata while we are saving an NDI stream. And this is something interesting because, one of the biggest advantage, because NDI is compressed, is that if you want to save an NDI stream into a file, you do not need any, compression and any, CPU or any processing. You just save it because it's already compressed. And so it's technically possible to save the file in the file, even the metadata. So it means that, 10 years later, I can play back this file and I can get all the information that was in the metadata. And again, this is something that is part of the NDI technology, and this can be a huge advantage for our partner.
It sounds like it. Thank you. Thanks for those details. So the next topic I'm interested in hearing about is the expanded ARM support in NDI 5, specifically the encoding and decoding with SpeedHQ. Maybe Edgar, do you have a position on the new ARM support?
Yes, absolutely. It's actually another very interesting development because our professional camcorders have a section which is based on ARM architecture. And implementation of NDI based on ARM allows us to go and actually upgrade products which didn't have NDI implemented originally, and to add NDI to already existing professional camcorders in the marketplace. I look forward to this implementation, and we will definitely be exploring these possibilities with our factory.
Well, that's a really interesting thing to hear. Thank you. Maybe to wrap up, I have a question for each of you, which is, based on your experience with NDI so far, what would you say to a developer, maybe either a hardware manufacturer or a software company that is looking at becoming an NDI partner? Maybe Edgar, can you start off?
Like I said before, from the day one when JVC started working with the NDI team Not only NDI team provided all necessary SDK and answered all questions of our developers to enable quick integration of NDI in our cameras, but also NDI team helps us to promote our products. And I like the feature which is NDI Marketplace. That's where all devices which have NDI integrated are listed, and it helps our customers to select products which they need for their production, but it also helps manufacturers like ourselves to promote our products to find more mutual customers.
Thank you. Jim, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, when you're developing new products, you're going to have challenges. And we absolutely had challenges along the way. The fact that the folks at NDI were really responsive to the challenges that we were facing. We were trying to do some things that we quite didn't understand, so they were able to help us through the process. We would not have been able to get our product to where it is today without the help from the folks over at NDI.
Thank you. That's good to hear. And actually, Roberto, I'd like to ask you the same question. Based on your experience, what would you say to a developer looking to add NDI?
NDI is fantastic, and it's a great opportunity. I mean, what we are doing again is to create this ecosystem, and year after year, if we look at the numbers, I mean, the number of users are using NDI is just unbelievable. And in the last 2 years, what we have seen is that even, big broadcasters are adopting NDI. And I mean, all our effort is to, increase this opportunity. And even the effort we are doing with our support portal, I mean, this is something where, our partner can have answer, can easily, develop tools and, make business. And then, NDI is the video over IP technology that just work. So it's another very good reason to support NDI.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for joining us today and for that very helpful information. I'm, of course, always interested to hear what our partners are doing and what their experience has been with NDI. So thank you all for joining today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And you can, of course, get the Telescript products through the NDI Marketplace. And we are anxiously awaiting the JVC cameras.
Oh, JVC cameras actually are already on a boat, and all it needs to do is just to cross the Pacific Ocean.
Sounds good. And thank you for joining us, Roberto.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you for supporting NDI.
Hey everyone. There are many ways when we, marketing together, create, support, and amplify your lead generating efforts when you partner with us as an NDI Advanced SDK developer. I'm Mark Getterman, Global Head of Demand Management here at VizRT Group, which includes VizRT, NewTek, and of course, the fast-growing NDI brand. So, what does partnering with NDI look like? You get the backing of VizRT Group's global marketing team, including an NDI brand-focused demand generation manager. These talented global resources from across the spectrum of marketing disciplines, including product marketing, digital marketing, content and brand, and marketing operations, help to ensure your key messages about your NDI-enabled solution reaches its target audience. Let's look at a few of the marketing activities you can expect when you launch your NDI solution as an advanced SDK developer. Today, it's more critical than ever before to increase your brand's exposure. While some think that the press release is outdated or has been made obsolete by always-on social media channels, when you've got some news to shout about and share with industry media, the press release should be your first official action. To help get you started, we provide you with a press release template and examples of finished press releases which include appropriate language to describe NDI. And we'll endorse your solution by providing a quote from a member of the NDI leadership team. To help amplify your announcement, we encourage the simultaneous publication of the press release to your list and our list of press contacts. And to show that you're in good company, we further promote and post your PR in the heavily trafficked press section of our website at NDI.TV. Now, what about those always-on social media channels? Whether your objective is to help grow your reach, or strengthen your relationship with your target audience, or boost traffic to your website, we amplify your posts by leveraging our official NDI social media channels. Email campaigns, or e-blasts, are the backbone of our NDI Developer Partner Marketing Program, and it's one of the main drivers of leads to the NDI marketplace. Every month, we promote NDI developer solutions to hundreds of thousands of opted-in media professionals who are interested in your NDI product. We employ professional-grade marketing automation and customer relationship management tools, and follow industry best practices to reach above-average e-blast open and click-through rates. We believe that these investments are critical and help ensure that buyer awareness morphs into interest, and interest converts to intent to purchase your NDI product. We are constantly working to expand and enhance the reach and influence of NDI. Through our deep investments in marketing and communication resources across a wide variety of mediums, and backed by the global innovation and financial strength of VizRT Group, you can rest assured in your investment as a valued NDI developer. So what are you waiting for? Join thousands of developers in the world's fastest growing IP content network. Go to ndi.tv/SDK.
Well, that's nearly it for today. Our special thanks goes to Edgar Shane of JVC and Jim Murphy of Telescript. If you haven't already, you can download the SDK, Advanced SDK, and the NDI SDK for Unreal Engine, along with all the latest NDI tools that come for free with the latest NDI release from our website, ndi.tv. Before I go, I'd like to tell you about our next episode, where we will take a look at how monitors and displays benefit from the simplified connectivity of NDI. That's it for today, so until we meet again on the next episode of NDI TV.